Hi, welcome to this new video where we'll be creating something quick and easy to make, and it'll be going off quite a classic feature of the Fallout series, which is the Stealth Boy, and all the Stealth Boy does is make your character invisible. So we'll be going over how to create a realistic and nice looking invisibility effect for your character. So if I just show you what I mean. Okay, so we all know what the Stealth Boy is like, but when I've got this hotkey to 1, when I press 1, okay, our character is given this material that slightly changes his environment, making him invisible at the moment, and then after a little while it wears off. Now as you can see, I've made it so it slightly affects the environment, as the idea of invisibility would be the light bending around him, so everything's not going to look perfectly intact. As you'll notice, the badge actually stays out in the moment. That's just with how the material is set. We can change that as well. So we'll get straight into that. So in your game, what we need to do is we just need to affect our third person character. So you can either have this as a pickup or you can just have this as a button. Again, I'm just going to show you how we would do this. So in our character, the first thing we're going to want is a material, and I'm just going to call this my invisibility material. And we'll double click this to open. Now, like we did with the UI element, which is in the video I previously released, so if you want to check that out now, it can show you how to do that for UI elements. We will keep its material domain as surface in this one, but we're changing its blend mode to translucent. So translucent means just light will pass through it unless told otherwise. So first, we're going to hold S and left click to get our parameter. And this parameter I'm going to name is my Refraction Index. Now Refraction Index is just a little bit of physics which states how dense a medium is. 1 is said to be air, so at 1 it would just not affect the environment at all. So like looking through at this wall here from this viewport to the wall, we can see perfectly that would be 1. However, the idea of the Stealth Boy is light bending around it, so this means that it will be slightly out of sync than normal air, but not too much to be noticed. So we can set this to something small like 1.2 and hook this up to our refraction. And now we need to make an opacity. So I'm holding left click again to get that parameter up, and I'm naming this opacity, and we want this set to something small like 0.1 and plug that into our opacity. If you want to give it a slight tint, you can. I'm actually going to make this slightly less, 0.05. If you want to give it a slight tint using the base colour, you can. However, I'm just going to leave it like this for the purpose of stealth. So now we have our material created here. We're going to go into our third person character, and in this character we're going to set up a new function which will be change Stealth Boy. So when change Stealth Boy is called, what we want to do is we want to get our mesh and we want to set material of the mesh, and we're actually going to want to do this twice using the mesh as the target and using the element index 1. And the reason we're doing this twice is because the mannequin, the base mannequin here, actually has two different materials, one for the actual body and one for the logo itself. Not too sure why. And then the material we're going to use is our invisibility material. Now the reason we can't use the alpha one we created in the last video is because that is set to UI mode only, not actual 3D surface rendering. Okay, so now we go back to our material, and we need to choose one more thing. We need to go to its usage. We need to say used with skeletal meshes at once. So it takes up a slight bit more memory usage, but for something like this, it's going to be relatively small. So now in our character, we're going to set a button. I'm just going to use 1, or again, you can set it to do this on pickup, on inventory, whatever. I'm just going to say when 1 is released, I'm going to call change stealth boy. Okay, so now when I press 1, my character is now invisible, and he has this slight light bending effect, which will allow us to know our character's invisible, and it also gives it slightly more realistic feeling of how it would actually work. Okay, as you saw, my character there didn't change back, so that's something we're going to do now. We're going to have to go to the event graph here. I'm going to set a delay, and in the delay I'm going to wait about 10 seconds, and once it's completed, then I'm going to want to set my material back to normal. So I'm going to create a branch statement. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if my character is already invisible. Okay, so to check if our character is invisible, we're going to want an input, because we don't want to store this in a variable. So I'm going to give this an input of is invisible, and I'm going to plug that into my branch statement. And then I'm going to move this slot down, and I'm going to call false for this one, and then disconnect the true. On true, we're going to do the same, but we're just going to return it back to our normal material, which in this case is my mannequin body and mannequin chest logo. Now the chest logo is index 1, the body is index 0. So we'll set that up there and compile. Now in the event graph, when we're calling, we need that delay. When we're calling change stealth boy the first time, if it's in invisible we want false, and then we're going to call it again after the delay and set it to true. Hit compile and play. Okay, so I press 1, my character is invisible, and after a couple of seconds we should change back to our original material. There we go. So that was a very simple way to create a stealth boy mechanism in your game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did, leave a thumbs down if you didn't. Leave a comment if your opinions are otherwise. And if you want to see more from me, then don't forget to subscribe. I hope you all enjoy Fallout 4 as well. I will be. Thanks guys. If you're wondering what to watch next, then I can recommend this video on the left. This video on the left is part of the Let's Make Fallout 4 series, and it is the third video. Now I'm suggesting the third video here is the one I did previously, which shows us how to create the new health and radiation AI, where the radiation bar actually affects the health bar. Or, if you're not really interested in adding something like that to your game, then check out the other video on the right. In this video on the right, I'll be giving my thoughts on the new Marvelous Designer 5. So check that out if you've ever been interested in the software and how it can easily help you clothe your new characters. Okay, thanks for watching guys, bye.